Okay, this video is extremely important. This information is very important and very factual. Keep in mind they're changing my voice. The shooting in Chicago is very much connected to the psychological operation that's being run here in California against me. I'm the top martial artist ever possible, and how you know that I'm serious is I'll tell you this right here. The word martial is marital scramble, as in marriage. And I, Christ, am the bridegroom. Bear with me, you'll see that I'm absolutely right and you won't regret watching this video. So, the shooting was at an album release party, and it was obviously gang related, clearly. But there are also other things going on here. There are various technologies being used here. Historically, psychological operations using technology were being run on various communities, especially Chicago, Baltimore, St. Louis, Dallas, Houston, Los Angeles, Oakland, San Francisco, certain communities that are very pronounced in the gang world. They kind of set the pace or the tone for the gang world because they're very important to gang members, their reputations, their types of gangs. The word Set, the Egyptian deity Set, right? Set the stage, set up, okay, settle, settler, settle down, what have you, is a play on words for heats, right? S-E-T-H becomes H-E-T-S. And with sounds applied, phonetics, you get the sound and the word heats. It's also a play on words for teas. It's also a play on words for seat, right? It's heats, right? Which goes back to the difference between being from a cooler place, like Northern Europe, okay, trying to inject yourself into the story, Ashkenazi Jews, Germany, England, France, what have you, and being from a very hot place like Ethiopia or Egypt or the Middle East, right? Justice is a play on words for just ice. Cheat is a play on words for sihiat and he-cat and see-heat. Okay, and it's also a play on words for seat, where the C has an S sound. Now you might wonder, why am I telling you this? Well, in Chicago, it's very much about codes and the occult, right? Gangster disciples, Satan's disciples, Latin kings, and the various other gangs there, like the vice lords. And the word vice has the word ice in it. The word advice, right? To add vice. And that's not my advice, because I'm a righteous person. That is bad advice. The word badge, right, is like the word badger. And bad G is the Roman earth deity. Now, so what does this have to do with this shooting? Well, by now you should start seeing a pattern that's connected to this shooting. They brought up somebody named Mellow Bucks. At least that's what it came out on the annotations, because they fumed me and poisoned me so much that I can't listen to the video. And quite often the message to me is through the annotations anyway. They change words, what have you. I had my heart broken by Maria Mello. I've recently made a parable where I talk about them owing me compensation, and that them, causing, me to have a lot of financial distress because of what's going on here. Okay, though I've not asked anyone for money in the last 16 years I've been making videos. That's not what this video is about. So, also yesterday I brought up that a lot of Jews are quick to cry if a Jew breaks a toenail or one or two Jews get killed. When people are massacred in Baltimore, St. Louis, Chicago, right? In 2023, there were 615 homicides in Chicago. And last year there was like 570 something or something. Okay? But no one's scrambling to send the troops to stop it. They're not passing new laws to stop it, because it's part of their kill rate plan. Now you get these kind of idiots who are Republicans and people like that who say everyone knows this. Okay, because they don't want people to start changing their state of mind and to do something about it, because they want to conserve the existing evil. That's why their color is red, like the color of the deity Set. Also the color of communism. And it's mixed in with the Nazi colors as well. And red is associated with the devil. However, people who wear blue, like maybe GDs, Crips, Serenials, what have you, they're not necessarily the good guys. In fact, they're not the good guys. They're another gang. It's part of the jigsaw puzzle game that is being played there. In fact, the word sir is a play on words for R-U-S, which is like the word R-U-S-E, a ruse. Okay, and there's numerology there, and there's wordplay there with the 13, and it's omitted, right? Representing the M for magic, for Mexican mafia, the M, what have you. Okay, and they usually leave the magic part out because that's where it overlaps with deep state psyops. That's why a lot of these guys are crypto Jews, just like in Chicago, right? If you look at the races, there's a bunch of crypto Jews. Now, whether they plan to take over the races or not, okay, that's a bit harder to discern. But certainly they plan to take over their important positions. Okay, in recent years, you've seen sports change to a kind of gay Jewish spirit from a kind of black and white and an occasional other race spirit to a kind of crypto Jew fairy spirit. Stephen Curry is like a crypto Jew in his spirit. Think about how Michael Jordan used to play Iverson Sprewell. They had more black, kind of ghetto, masculine hood spirit. Okay. Michael Jordan from Chicago, right? Chicago Bulls, and the devil and the bull, and ball, and the bull, and the Bible. By Baal, by the bull, the devil. The Duke, Blue Devils. So this occult stuff is everywhere. And what caused this shooting to happen is that they wanted to send me a message using their proxies, but their proxies almost certainly unwittingly sent the message because they're using various fumes and poisons and technologies to cause these things to happen. So when Maria Mello broke my heart when I was 16, I carved a broken heart into my forearm under my wrist. Now keep in mind that I'm not some random person with delusions of grandeur. By default, I'm a very important person on this planet. Even if you don't believe that I'm Christ, even if you're dumb enough to think that my top martial arts challenge, which I offer up to $200 million if anyone could beat me, okay, magically doesn't mean anything. Think about this. I'm the son of 2 doctors, one who's a brain surgeon and humanitarian. In California, not in Oklahoma, not some insignificant place, in California, who's worked here for like 45 years or so before he retired. I'm a very upstanding member of the community, very well-respected person when it comes to the martial arts world, when it comes to people in this community. They know that I'm the man around here. And no one else who lives in the area I live by San Jose, no one else in San Jose and Santa Clara County can say that they're distinctly an important person. Just my father and I, and my brothers. But, one of my brothers doesn't live here, okay? And I have strong ties and connections to various other places as well. Now, I personally don't care about social status at all. In fact, it disgusts me to have to overkill my point using that, because a lot of people who have social status, they didn't earn it from, their parents, their father being penniless, working his way up, coming to America as a refugee and working his way up to being a brain surgeon, thus surpassing the vast majority of doctors right away, and then becoming the most moral brain surgeon that ever lived. Okay? They got it from being some kind of white privileged person, token minority, Freemason, some kind of, kind of Boy Scout for adults kind of group, right? Some kind of social club, fraternity, frat. The word frat, okay, is a play on words for brat. It's also a play on words for F as in sex and rat. And it alludes to the LGBT community if you rearrange the letters, but I'm not going to say that word because it might take away from the rest of this video. Okay, they have immature wordplay as well. So, when you look at this thing, what is the game in the first place? The word game is a play on words for mage, which goes back to the magic, which is a play on words for I'm cage. I am, you see the letter I, the letter M, and the word CHG without the E. So it's a play on words from I'm cage. The magic is a mental labyrinth cage. Instead of pointing directly to the Royal African Falcon Martial Art Order as the alphas of all humanity, a bunch of people in cults went around the world and started religions. Most of the religions we have today sprung up in the last 5,000 years or so. And most of them even more recent than that. Now, why would that be? Why wouldn't these religions go back tens of thousands of years? Because they're not valid. They're responses to the Royal African Falcon Martial Art Order, and before Columbus traveled the world, other people did. Not just Native Americans, they had some kind of ancient trade route, some kind of ancient way to communicate to each other. Okay, island hopping, going through, Russia and Alaska, what have you. That's what the evidence shows us. That's why the pyramids are similar in America to the much older pyramids in Egypt. We have the largest human structure in the world, the Great Pyramid of Giza. Okay. And it goes back to the Royal African falcon martial art word falcon, faster and master. The falcon tribes that founded Egypt. When you think about it, building the Great Pyramid of Giza is just building a structure. But being the top martial artist ever possible, which is what I am, is far more impressive. And being the types of people who founded Egypt with martial arts skills, outmaneuvering all the other martial arts in the main trade route on the planet. Okay, being closely tied with West African Igbos, where we get the word Kiro Obi, meaning black belt. Kiro meaning black, Obi meaning belt, which is a sign of rank. Obi, spelled backwards, is Igbo, the name of my father's tribe. And the word Obi in Igbo means King Harhat Essence Center Temple Core. The word Chi is also an Igbo word. And it's a very popular word, Chi or Ki, in Eastern martial arts as well. So this is kind of global trade route. There's a kind of global martial art trade route, and there's a global occult trade route historically, which goes back to the leopard societies of Africa, and the reason why Dionysus, who's considered young Zeus in Greek mythology, rides a leopard/panther. He's also associated with dolphins, which goes back to him being a young Zeus, aka young Baal, a deity of merchants, storms, rape by deception, brute force, chaos, confusion, etc. Thus Set, it's a plain words for tease, to create a confused state of mind that causes people to kill each other, and then the reproduction cycle is a result of a con and a fuse. They're fusing things together, right, as a result of the con. Thus the word consent, consent. Okay, and who sent them? The con man behind the economy. Okay, the conniving, condescending con man who's a confidence man, who gets you to have confidence in your ways. Whether you're a psychopath CEO or a gang member, a drug addict, they get you to be confident and to commit to an inferior path. Thus, martial arts are lifestyles, ways, and paths. Mind, body, soul, and spirit. And sparring, spirit, and the spirit that one's in shows prioritization, commitment to wise action, timing, discipline, wisdom. It shows what spirit someone's in if it's done correctly. And after my flesh dies, it won't be done correctly. See the next video I'm going to post after this. It's going to be about a parable that is very key here. A parable that is very key to this story here. So again, Maria Mello and Mellow Bucks. Rap and rape. Rap and pair. Rap and pro. The word proof is a plain word for profound, procreate. I'm saying this quickly because I don't have that much room on my phone. I still have to make another video today. And because I get fumed so heavily on my parents' property, okay, I had to make the videos outside of my house. And they do things to make it so that I don't have much room on my phone. They cyber attack me. They do various things. They fume me. They poison me. They cause me to jump through all kinds of hurdles because they're sick fucks with a kind of mosaic checkered floor in Freemasonry where they're playing a sick game with their checkered floor and their checkered past, including all the racism and all the sick games where the word haunt and hunt are connected. And hangman, the game they play, because they used to take their dogs and they used to play a sick game of hunting the black people. Some were criminals, some were more heroic-like, and they would hunt them down and they would kill them like many of the civil rights activists, and they'd beat them up like the freedom riders, and so on and so forth. So as you look at this thing, right, hint, hunt, haunt, okay, late, rate, fate, mate, hate, wait, rhyme and reason. There's a lot of wordplay in their language because it's the central design. It's the central organizing principle of their culture to be sexual sadists, right? The central organizing principle is sexual sadism. It's being a psychopath in the occult and manifesting the destiny as a result of doing all this rape and murder, thus throwing yourself and everyone else into a confused state of mind where they say the magic begins, right? It's like a dizzy spell, a magic spell, and wordplay, play, and spelling. Now, some people might say that's the word salad. Again, I have to say this quickly. Put in the comments if you have any questions. Don't be some kind of punk who plays stupid because your balls never dropped, because you don't got any heart, because you have bad genes. Don't be one of those punks. Life is short. Man up.
Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. So let's look at some words here. Let's look at the word economy. Let's look at the word Medicaid. the word Medicare and the phrase climate change. What are the odds that the wordplay is painfully obvious here? In the word economy, you have the letter E, and you have con, oh my. Oh my, it's a con, like it's not a big deal. Just like the word slaughter is the word laughter's scrambled. Is it a big deal? Yes. Is the economy a big deal? Yes. The word AIDS, right, is the word said scrambled. Well, let's focus on these words in this video here. The word Medicaid, right, is a play on words for me, dick, aid. Now think about that. That's pretty serious, right? The word Medicare, me, dick, are. So who are they to you? And that determines who's dating who, right? Has a lot to do with that. The word climate change, right? See, lie, mate, change. What are the odds, right? CL. They want everyone to be sick. L, and the word L rhymes with hell for a reason. And the Canaanite deity El, ring a bell? Part of a sort of, psychology, a sort of magic spell. Rhyme and reason, if you will. Now, again, if you're confused because you can't keep up with that, watch it several times, you'll say, oh, ask somebody. Okay. Now, let's look at it again. The word economy. Con, oh my. Medicaid, me, dick, aid. Medicare, me, dick, are. Climate change, see, lie, mate, change. Now, let's say you're extremely skeptical and you don't believe. You don't believe the things that are very clear-cut that I talk about in my videos, that I overkill, things like this. So what is your explanation for what's going on? They want to cut $1 trillion from these very vital services, these very vital programs, health insurance. And they want to cut SNAPs by $30 billion. What is your explanation for? What effect does it have? We know historically, when people do bad, they commit more crimes. They don't scramble to do good. Okay? For the most part, the effect it has is the amount of good in the country is about the same, except for the amount of bad goes up, or the amount of good goes down and the amount of bad goes up. That's the effect it has. We know that. We know that the London School of Economics did a study and they found that the money doesn't trickle down. So what is the effect that every Republican economist knows for sure it's going to have? It's going to make people more desperate, and they're going to turn into sex workers more. They're going to work in massage parlors more, and they're going to scramble to give happy endings and stuff like this to pay their rent. They're going to be gold diggers more. So that's why it's called hypergamy, right? Dating up, dating toward the money. Really dating down, but you get what I'm saying. The word hypergamy has the word game scrambled into it. And the word game is a play on words. It's the word mage scrambled. And the first part of the word is gay, and the second part of the word, and I'm not gay, mind you, refers, is me. Those two words. One of them is me, and the other one is gay. And I am not gay. It's part of what I hate about things like that. The old immature frat guy saying, I made you say it. And it's stupid. Same people say jinx and stuff like this. Very immature, very immature. While people are being raped and coerced, this is the game that they're playing. Very disgraceful. If you look at the history of Rome, when Rome collapses in the West, the modern West or the more modern West picks up from where Rome left off, right? Rome created the Orthodox Church, the Catholic Church. The Protestant Church was responding to, the Protestant Church, was responding to the Roman system. Okay, there are various periods in time, like the period of confessionalism, and they evolve into the modern system we have now.
Okay, so ask yourself, why do people pretend that your oppressors' lives are magically worth more than yours? They're not. Why is it that even though 70% of Republicans want the rich to pay more taxes, that there's these massive tax cuts that are about to pass, 4.5 trillion over 10 years, while there's 800,000 people homeless, 60,000 people dying every year without adequate access to health care? When the top 50% has 162 trillion and the bottom 50 has 2 to 4 trillion, depending on if they're about to pay rent or not, or whether or not it's right after them paying their rent. Massive economic disparity. There's nothing rich people do that makes it so they deserve far more money than poor people. Nothing. Capitalism has to be limited by morality. If it's a capitalist economy and not a moral economy, it's an evil economy. Money is the root of all evil. And if morality is not limiting how much money people can have relative to how poor the poor are, then that economy is evil. And what you're living for and dying for and reproducing for is evil. I know a lot of you don't want to hear this. You think that if people don't agree with the elite that they should go somewhere else or something. And that's sick. You need help for that. People are dying. They're being murdered. They're dying of drug overdoses. People are being raped and killed. Little girls are meeting up with people off the internet being kidnapped and raped. It's unbelievable. You people think you should encourage each other to be evil. What group in high school, for example, doesn't encourage people to be evil? Jocks? Emos? Manga? Anime? Rockers? Thugs? What's squares? Squares think that they're doing the right thing or something because they're conforming to a very evil system. And the rich oppressor quite often acts like a quote-unquote square. So every culture that you see, but mine, is feeding into the evil system. They're not scrambling to tell you the truth. The way to solve the evil system is to tell the truth about the evil system and to do what is precisely right.